Hi everybody, Lisa here with another Vera Bradley bag of the day. Please stop licking, Duke. um, I don't usually do literal unboxing videos because I always kind of feel like it's a little unnecessary and there's a lot of unboxing noise. So I tend to unwrap the stuff first and then show it. But this is the first time I got a delivery of a Vera item from a website I hadn't ordered off of before, and I was so impressed with the way that it came. Please relax, puppies. That I wanted to show it in case people had never ordered from this website or were unsure whether they should. I was just so pleased. I mean, shout out to, it's from Dillard's. Shout out to Dillard's, although do you mind, please? It's just me, relax. They'll never see this video, but props to Dillard's. I don't live near a Dillard's, much to my intense Vera sorrow. And this is the first time I had ever been motivated to order from them for this particular pattern, and I'm so pleased with the way I cut open the box, but when I saw how the bag was in there, I just wanted to show it in case people find that useful. That maybe they would consider ordering from Dillard's now, because I don't know if everything comes this way, but it looks like it may have been just taken off of a shelf in the store and wrapped up, because it didn't come flat. Everyone, who orders from the Vera Bradley website knows your stuff comes all flattened out, and it's got creases in it, and it's sometimes hard to train it to stay in its proper shape and get those creases out. And this didn't come like that. So I saw this huge box, and I thought, well, that's kind of a waste of space, because I was assuming it would be all flattened out, but it's not. So, I did uncut the bag. I just wanted to show people. So I opened it, and this is how it looked. This came yesterday, and I would have used it today as my bag of the day, but I wanted to save it like this for the video. I did use a different bag, which I'll do another video on. And I had to get back to work again. It came with this bubble wrap, this great bubble wrap. Like heavy duty bubble wrap. And then the bag is in there, stuffed with stuffing. So that's what makes me wonder if it was even just pulled off the shelf. I don't know how Dillard's fulfills their website orders. I don't know if they funnel them to various stores and have the stores send out the stuff, because this plastic bag was sort of reinforced with 2 pieces of Scotch tape, so as if it had been already taken out of its the bag that it would come in from Vera Bradley, and stuffed with stuff to sit out on a shelf. So anyway, this bag is the Carson North-South Tote, and the pattern is Dragon Fruit Floral, which is a Dillard's exclusive. I had looked at this style bag in the signature store. I think it might have been in Bramble. And while there were things about it that I did like, I was always hesitant for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not crazy about the pleather, the way the straps attach to the bag with pleather. As I always say, I don't need more pleather in my life. The other thing was the metal zipper, the top metal zipper, which of course I'm always resistant to thinking about getting a bag with a metal zipper. Try to avoid it if I can. But not just the metal zipper, but the way it is bordered by these pleather strips is causing the top of this bag to really keep its shape across, sort of like the Villager does. And I tend to like a slouchier, softer bag, so that was making me resistant to this style. This particular metal zipper, though, seems to be working really well. Probably out of all the bags that I have that have this god-awful metal zipper, this one works the smoothest. So I will compare the bag to a couple of the other totes, but I did want to talk a little bit about the pattern. I'm sorry, Dookie, on your foot, on your foot. Because that's the reason that I broke down and ordered this. You know, no, I probably never get to a Dillard's. But the more I look at this pattern, the more intrigued I became with it. I just think it's very interesting. The background is gray. I would say it's a gray. There you go. But it's got a very strong blue cast to it. And so I think that why it was appealing to me was because of all the combination of the orange with this very grayish blue or bluish gray. Because orange and blue are complements on the color wheel, which means that they fall opposite each other on the color wheel, and they complement each other. They enhance each other. And in addition, red and orange are contiguous colors on the color wheel, meaning they fall next to each other. So it would be orange, red, red, orange, and orange falling next to each other on the color wheel. And this pattern makes, a lot of use of those colors. And so I have a feeling that's why it was appealing to me. And then you've got these little pops of like mint green and lavender in there. And when I had been looking at photos of these bags in this pattern on the Dillard's website, I really fell in love with this red and orange leaf. And I said to myself, God, I hope I get that front and center on the flap. And what are the odds that that's actually going to happen? Well, it happened. I was so excited. I'm a little bummed that this pleather label is on top of this flower, which I hadn't really been looking at on the website. I was so focused on the leaf. But the more I look at this particular flower, the more interesting I think it is. I think it might be on the back somewhere and I can show it uninterrupted. But I just am very much in love with the rendering in this pattern. To me, it's very Asian. Sort of like what was going on in stitched flowers, although I thought I was going to love stitched flowers in person, and I do love it in photos. But in person, could never really get on board with it because of the black elements in it. It just really didn't do anything for me. So I think the color scheme here and that solid background color really were just hard to resist for me. And I do love this. Like, I think this right here is very Asian looking, this flower. And I like these little groupings here, these delicate little flowers there. It's got another orange and red leaf here in addition to that curved one. Oh, and another one up here. So I really haven't even, looked so thoroughly at this pattern as I probably will end up doing. But I just think it's gorgeous. And I think, it's sort of related to me to some other patterns, and that's what I wanted to sort of show, in addition to comparing the actual bag styles. This is the Bordeaux Blooms Bright Tote. And I think if you look at them, you can sort of see, there we go. You can sort of see a relationship, a similar idea going on there with big sort of almost fantasy looking flowers interspersed with these leaves that are sort of curving in various directions. And the rendering is very similar with these black outlines, these outlines. Trying to get the light a little bit better. It's a little bright here. Let's see. I don't know if that helps a little bit. Maybe that helps a little bit. It's just something very similar about these patterns to me. This one seems a little bit more controlled in the line work and the coloring. where the colors sort of stay within the lines, the outlines of the shapes. In this pattern, you're starting to see, like here, the line work. The color doesn't always stay in the line work. It's very subtle, but it's starting to happen. Over here, you see it. And that sort of evolves to me into this, which is Autumn Leaves, another Dillard's, and I think a Macy's exclusive, where it really gets sort of fantastical, and the color is slipping out from the outlines, and it's a bit looser in rendering. But I feel like it's sort of related, like there's a progression to me. And I think that's why these patterns all appeal to me. To me, they're sort of related in some way. And we'll talk about the size. I'll try to measure them. Like I said, this is new to me. I just got this. I haven't used it yet. So anyway, the features, the strap is, well, everyone says it's sort of rolled. But to me, this is really a true rolled strap where there's stuffing in it and you can feel the stuffing. You can feel the padding. This, it feels like what they did was they took a strap and they folded it in half. So you can see it was wide at the base. And they folded it in half and sewed it down on one edge. And so it sort of feels hollow inside. There isn't really any stuffing in there. It's just fabric folded over onto itself and stitched. So that to me is not really a rolled handle. And these straps do feel a little crunchy because of that. They do have a sort of a flatness to them, so I don't imagine it's going to be like and there's not going to be any discomfort here. I think it's just going to feel fine against my shoulder, but it is not like a bright tote. It's not. I don't feel like it's a true rolled strap. Again, attaches to the bag with these pieces of pleather, which I wasn't crazy about, but I do feel like, at least in this color scheme, it kind of blends in well, not too noticeable. So the front, as with like a Carson shoulder bag, has that front flap element and a magnetic snap closure, but the underlying pocket is just one big pocket, which I like. I mean, I don't mind the double pocket under the flap here. What I don't like about the Carson, even though I have two, is this snap. It's a very strong magnet, and it's attached to this piece of pleather, which is then tacked down to the fabric. And so if you just were to pull like this, and I'm pulling pretty good, and it's the magnet is still not releasing, and all this stress is causing all this stress of the pleather pulling on the fabric, and I could imagine at some point that's going to tear if you're not careful. So I always have to remember when I'm working this snap to hold on to this piece of pleather and pull it out. So that kind of bugs me. More than, the fact that there's, it's configured with two pockets here. But I do prefer the one big pocket to this, in addition to this problem with this snap here in the pleather. I have that out because I was going to compare it to this other bag that I got, because someone had asked me to about comparing these two. So I thought I was going to talk about this new bag that I got, and I'll just keep the Carson out for comparison, but I'll do a different video on that. So anyway, it has this big slip pocket in here, which is great. I love that. And I like this magnet. The magnetic snap closure works fine. And again, doesn't feel quite as, it's still strong, but it doesn't feel quite as strong as that one for some reason. But again, I still would probably be careful working it. But what's kind of neat, which I didn't expect, was that there's this slip, I guess it's sort of a hidden slip pocket behind that flat pocket. And it's big. It's sort of tacked down here where my fingers are. But underneath that, it widens, the pocket widens out to here. So it's a nice, big, generous pocket. back doesn't have anything, which is great. Another reason I like this bag is because it's just this uninterrupted expanse of the fabric, and I feel like that really, works to show off a pattern really nicely. Ooh, the pattern looks good there in the light. Ooh, and this is that other flower that I like so much. I mean, I was so pleased I got this, front and center. That's what I wanted. I'm so relieved. But this is an interesting flower too, which I wasn't really aware of. You get little dots in the leaves here, and these little dots here. These little dots here are kind of these almost look like the inside of a flower. That reminds me of some of the rendering on slate blooms. This one up here, also nice with the little dots in the lavender. Anyway, so again, that top metal zipper, and then so it just came so nicely stuffed. Like I just think this was probably on a shelf somewhere, and they unstuffed it. I mean, took it off the shelf and put it back in the plastic and didn't unstuff it. Even that piece of plastic, that was still in there. So inside, you get your basic configuration of one wall. The bag has the slip pocket, and it's deep. It's a deep slip pocket. It's nice. And on the other side, maybe a little hard to see, but 2 slip pockets. So your basic configuration. And the lining is lovely. The lining, I'm not sure what it's made of, but it doesn't feel as slippery as the regular nylon or polyester linings that have been used lately, although I do wonder if they're going back to some cotton. This has more of a cotton feel. I don't think it's cotton, but it may be a blend, but it definitely doesn't feel like slick nylon, and it has a heavier feel to it, like a heavier weight to it, like it's a denser weave. And in this pattern, which, I mean, to me these flowers kind of look like pansies. I don't know what they are, but these look like fireflies to me. I mean, I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, but they're clearly a critter of some kind. So when I saw that, on the Dillard's website, that even made me want the pattern more. I just thought, ooh, critters, because that's the one thing I feel like is missing from the exterior pattern here is some kind of critter. I wanted a dragonfly. So as soon as I heard the word dragon, even though it was dragon fruit, I just wanted, some kind of insect. Anyway, so love the lining. Really, just very pleased with the lining, the feel of the lining too. Okay, so I guess I could put some stuff in here. Maybe I should measure it, and we'll get some dimensions. The top opening, 17. Top to bottom, it's about 14, and across, again about 17 and a half. So the base, which there's no removable base, of course. I guess I would go back on the website and see what the care instructions are. Feels like there is a little something in there, but it doesn't feel very, can I help you? Did you want to come up here? It doesn't feel very stiff. It's fairly soft. But I can load up the bag and see how it, if it sags or anything. I have a feeling it won't sag too much. So the base is soft and not removable, and is a 13 by 5.5. And the strap drop, at least when there's nothing in it, is about 11. So if you compare that to something like a bright tote, size-wise, you can see the bright tote is a little bit bigger, even top to bottom, just slightly top to bottom, but certainly bigger in the width. I feel like the strap drop is probably comparable because the top of the bright tote tends to slouch, you know, when you put stuff in it. If you were to compare it to the iconic Vera, the larger size, so the iconic Vera, not the small. Dookie, please don't lick. The iconic Vera looks about the same, basically, maybe a little bit larger on the top opening, maybe by about an inch. I would say width-wise, you can see it's a little bit wider. Top to bottom looks to be about the same, though. Strap drop, let's see. I think the strap drop on the iconic Vera is maybe an inch longer. Maybe 2 inches longer. The iconic small Vera, iconic small Vera really is a difference. You can see quite a difference in the small. Hold it up by the straps. Strap drop looks about the same on this, but you can see the difference there. Oops. And one more is the Hadley. These kind of hide each other almost exactly. So I would say these are about the same size. Let's see what the strap drop is. Longer strap drop on this, though. And the Hadley, of course, is, I think, a slouchier bag because of the way it's constructed. And something about the micro square quilting, too, gives the fabric a different drape. Okay, so I can load up maybe at least the large Vera just to put them both on to see, but I just want to put my real stuff in here so I can see how this bag looks with weight in it. Please don't eat that, Peaches. Good girl, thank you. So I have my normal stuff, my GPS. Don't eat that. iPad mini, which I always do this test, right? See if it fits in the slip pocket. And it does. Completely fits in there. Show it. It zips. It just zips. And I tend not to zip this pocket when I slip an iPad in there, but it is a test I always do just to get an idea of how big that pocket really is, the zip pocket. I don't know if I call this slip pocket, the zip pocket. My cord pouch. iPod, phone. I guess I could put those in the slip pockets for now. And wallet. Just dump that in there. Okay. That's everything. Zip it out. So now, I don't know. See, that's the thing, right? This tends to sort of want to slouch, but yet it has this pleather and this metal zipper that are wanting to have structure. So they're fighting. Those two things are at odds there. But here's what it looks like on. Oh, I'm all not the best outfit today. Okay. There it is on. I do feel like that slouch is nice because it gives you a little bit more of a space for your elbow when you're putting the bag on and taking it off. And I do like this. I do like this large flap without that pleather strap. And this definitely this magnetic strap snap is more user friendly than the one in the Carson shoulder bag. At least my Carson shoulder bag. It's a very strong magnet. So that's about how it looks on. I've said in other videos, I'm about 130, 125 to 130. I probably went back up to 130. I had a moment there where I thought my pants were getting loose, but I don't know anymore. And about 5'4". So this is, about where it's going to fall on your hip if you're around my height. So then, I don't really have anything to put in here to compare. I guess I can dump this in here. Give it a little body. So again, this is the iconic Vera. Another big bag. For some, I do feel like this doesn't look quite as wide this way. It just has a little bit more of a streamlined look. This has more of a square, boxy look. This has more of a vertical rectangular look. So I do like that about this north-south tote. I feel like I could get away with using this more as a handbag almost. This I never feel that way about. This I always feel like I better be lugging a lot of stuff or it's going to look silly. I do think a more interesting comparison, though, is to the bright tote. That's why I pulled out my bright tote, which I love. I love the bright tote because it has a real slouch to it when you put stuff in it. And I like that a lot. This is not a very heavy, when I'm loading it up with, it's not very heavy, so I don't know how much it's going to slouch, but it does sort of slouch a little bit. So you can see this is a shorter strap drop. So, you don't have as much room here with your elbow, but for me it's not a problem. I mean, it's just fabric. It's malleable. But it is sitting up higher. You can see on my hips it's sitting up, this one's sitting up higher. I really love the bright tote. I wish they would keep making this, or, at least release a couple more patterns in this every now and then. This top zipper on this bright tote is the plastic zipper. And so it's more conducive to slouching. And with these handles, when they're placed so wide, it's a similar construction with these handles. It's not pleather, but there's a tab here sewn to the body of the bag. Again, widely spaced handles here, sewn on it with a tab to the bag. And so this kind of a style, the top of the bag wants to slouch, but it's not slouching as well because of that zipper and the pleather strips up top bordering the zipper. This slouches better. This overall look looks more unified, looks like a well-designed, thought-out concept. This does not, in a way, because the zipper tends not to go with what the bag wants to do. But again, I cast all that aside because I really wanted this pattern, and I am so pleased with this pattern. I love this pattern. I just think it's so beautiful. and unusual and Asian looking to me. Very beautiful. So if I can do this with the Hadley as well, though I don't even know how necessary that is. This is very similar size, right? Oops. Again, you can see the shorter strap drop. It's a little bright, blowing out there. Yeah, light's blowing it out a little bit there. That's a little better. So the bag bottoms are hitting at different places on my hip. They look about the same width, though, don't they? I feel like. And for one last comparison would be the iconic. It doesn't even fit in there. The iconic small Vera. So that really is a height difference on where it hits, you know, at the hip. So I feel like those are I'm sure there are a couple of other bags you might want to compare this to, but off the top of my head, those are really, those are really the main sort of comparable ones, I think. So anyway, I mean, like I said, I haven't used this outside yet, but I don't envision any problem. And all my stuff, I should see. So all my stuff is in here that I would normally take, and the bottom of the bag is still flat. So I have found in general with these totes, I know people are bemoaning the loss of the removable cardboard insert or just a hard bottom in general. And sometimes I agree you need a hard bottom. But I feel like they've been doing something with their bag construction to compensate. You know, if a bag was designed with a hard bottom, and it tends to need that bottom, and when you remove that removable bottom, the bottom of the bag tends to sag and it doesn't look good. But since they're designing these now to not have those bottoms, I find that they're doing something that the bag is maintaining its flat bottom. So the structure is good in that sense. I never feel like there's some kind of weird sagging going on when all my stuff is loaded up. And I've put laptops in some of in the large iconic Vera. I have carried a laptop around, and I haven't had any sagging in the bottom. So, and I definitely could fit I'm using my laptop right now, so I can't put it in here, but I definitely could fit my laptop in here, easy, no problem. So anyway, I hope people found that helpful. If they haven't yet gotten this style or considering this style, that's how it sort of holds up against some of the other totes. And I know some people are not crazy about this pattern, but I just love it. And I feel like I want all the things in it now. So I will definitely be ordering from Dillard's again for sure. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'm probably going to do another video, and I'm not going to change my clothing and try to make it seem like it's a different day. This is the outfit. Deal with it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching.